Don't throw them, Janet. Steady, Janet.
We're going to need them in a minute.
Why?
I don't know.
Yes. Welcome.
Yeah, great to be here.
And
Thank you for having me
I, for
back.
one, can say I was very, very sorry to see you leave Strictly. I thought you were terrific.
Yes.
Wasn't he brilliant?
Yeah.
And I genuinely thought, you know, most people say, oh, there's always the joke one, but maybe you were at the beginning. But for me, I completely saw that you improved your dancing, and I think that's what Strictly is all about.
It's true. Week after week, Ed, you were getting better and better and better. And, you know, all those haters that are out there, just you ignored them. You were so gracious about it. Like we were saying, your quick step there was foot perfect. And as a viewer, I was going, go on, Ed, you know, because we could see you were really trying week after week.
We really tried, and I didn't quite get to the semi-final like you, Lisa, but I almost did.
But you took her crown.
I know.
Lisa's got the hump with you.
Well, we did realise this Saturday, when Len did say to you, Ed, that, you know, fantastic, you are the people's champion. I was Len's people's champion, and you've taken my crown!
We can both bit together.
Oh, well, that's an honour, to share Ed's crown.
We tried really hard to get as much dancing as we could, but also to get entertainment and fun. And Katya Jones, it was her first series. She was absolutely brilliant at the choreography, and the first week was really hard, doing a waltz, and then from then on, I just loved every week.
Do you think you know, when they picked the partners, can you imagine what was going through her head when they went, and you've got Ed Bald, your first series. She was
thinking,
yay!
Why didn't I get Danny Mac? And actually, lots of times in rehearsals, when it would, because it was always, you know, it's tough and in the training, and every now and then she would say, you've got to work harder, and I would say, you really wanted Danny Mac, didn't you? But I'm not sure she did in the end, because I think we had such a great time. She and her husband Neil are very brilliant, and they are world show dance champions, and they are brilliant at finding a way in which you can both dance and tell a story and make it fun. Yeah. And that's what we managed to do, I think. And,
well, you did, and you say you embraced your inner camp, and my goodness, you did.
I'm a bit worried about that, Ed, because when we talk about camp in Britain, we've got a fantastic tradition. We've got Danny LaRue, Larry Grayson, and Lily Savage. Yeah. So you're in that tradition?
But I think Peter Kay is also a little bit camp. I actually think Gary Lineker is a little bit camp. If you think of him in his boxer shorts presenting, you can't do that without having a little bit of camp about you.
So we always suspect that politicians have got a bit of showbiz in them, because otherwise why would you stand up and make all those speeches, you know? So have you always had that little spark inside you, do you think?
Oh, definitely. I think people who didn't know me said this is a revelation, and people who've known me for a long time always knew that I had this in me. What I don't think I realised was I had an inner Beyoncé. That was totally new. And actually, we had the move when I did that, which you showed earlier. And as Katya flew past me live on television, she yelled at me, "Give them more, give them more." And as my hand came up, I suddenly found I was doing this. I don't know how it happened. I don't know.
Yes, but you certainly gave us more.
I didn't even know it happened. Afterwards, I came off and they said, "What happened with your hand?" And I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "All of this." I didn't. And I looked. I thought, goodness me.
You were in the moment.
But at least you didn't wear a leather bodysuit. We've got that to be thankful for.
That was next week.
One thing I do want to ask you is, there you were being scored every week. Do you not think politics would be so much better if in the Houses of Parliament, Prime Minister's question time was scored, or MPs were scored? Wouldn't they up their game? Because you've had to put yourself on the line and be scored every week.
The problem is, who would do the scoring? That's what's hard. When you've got MPs who are elected and they're making the laws, there can't be people who are more important. But, you know, there would be a massive debate about who would be the judges, and that would last years and years and years. And in the meantime, nothing would ever get done.
But, Ed, you're 33-1 now to be the next Labour leader. And obviously you lost your seat in the last election, but with boundary changes next year, you could get back in the next election. But would that be enough for you, just being an MP? I
think, well, I'm not sure if I wanted to be an MP again. I would have spent last weekend doing all that Zoolander stuff. That might have been foolish. I think I've had a fabulous time and really enjoyed it. And
but why wouldn't you be an MP? Because you've learnt so much. You've connected with the public.
We've just seen a reality television star become president.
Yes.
Yeah. And you've been in, but you've already had a foot in both camps.
That's true.
You could very easily go back with the popular vote.
Yeah. I think, though, that the reality TV and entertainment is a wonderful thing, and I've loved it, and I'd like to do some more of it. But if you're being the president or the prime minister, it's not simply about flamboyance and risk and surprise. It's also about people's lives and big decisions. And my worry is Donald Trump is going to think he can be a reality TV president, and that could be catastrophic. I know that it's just a different thing. Politics is important and purposeful. This is fabulous and fun, but they're not the same thing. And if you get them mixed up, then I think you kid yourself and could be very dangerous. So I'm not going to be foolish like that.
We get some pretty fabulous guests here on Loose Women. There's plenty more where that came from. Just click here to watch more interviews with a whole range of famous faces. And click here to subscribe. It's free, so you'd be silly not to, really.